Hey guys, here I am. I'm so sorry about that. I just got home and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how late it is already. I was on the phone on the way home saying, oh my goodness, I was supposed to be on the internet at 7 o'clock. That was interesting. All of a sudden, I started hearing what I just said. So I had to go click that off. I had the other thingy open when I typed that little message before. So let's see. We have 7 people here. Sorry, you guys. Oh, you know what? I want to check my email quick and see. Okay, let's see here. Oh my gosh. Okay. I missed a bunch of emails. Ah! Okay, I just sent an email to our guest, and I hope she's still awake. I hope. Now I have to get back to that screen. There we are. Okay, here we go. Hey, Mrs. Fluffer. Yes, happy Angie. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I did this. I had no clue at all as far as like I totally thought I was going to be home all evening and then I wasn't. And then I was like kind of hurrying to get home, but I still wasn't like hurrying to get home fast enough, right? And then as I'm heading home, I'm like, oh crap, it's late. I screwed up. So I'm so sorry. I don't like putting the what do you call it, the announcement ones or the reminder ones or whatever up there, because then it's like I have to be there at a certain time. And at the same time, I think then a lot of people are like, okay, let's go to that live chat and try to put bad comments in there, you know? So, but here we are. Yay! We're here. And our guest, I hope, is still awake. I just sent her an email, like I said. So hopefully she's still awake and she can hop right up there. If not, then I promise you I'll hop on tomorrow and we can bring her up at an earlier time. Mrs. Fluffer says, it's okay. We thought you got stolen. Our guest is Paula. And let me check my email and see what time. Okay, the last time I heard, because she sent an email saying, that they were waiting, and that was at 7:43. So I bet she's probably gone to bed. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes, our guest is Paula, and if she is sleeping already tonight, then we'll go ahead and hop on tomorrow if she can. Whenever Paula's available next, we'll hop on. Because I think Paula has very interesting stuff to tell us, quite frankly. And I was so glad that we found her last night because we haven't seen her in a while, right? And then during that other live chat, we went and found her. So let's hope she's still awake and she hops on sometime here soon. But in the meantime, let's talk. I haven't been on, so let me take a look and see what kind of stuff is going on today in the world of Christopher Watts on YouTube. Okay, let's see here. Oh, here's an interesting title. It says Never Chris Watts Again. That looks like an interesting one. There's still a heavy duty focus on NK. I don't get that. I wonder if people realize that that whole thing was debunked like in 2018. That's interesting. There are really just a handful of videos up in the last 24 hours on the case. That's interesting. Oh, here's an interesting title about the letters to Christopher Watts, and one of them said, "You're a wonderful man." Really? I'm thinking maybe not. Oh, here's one. It looks like AD is talking about Summer Kate, the little girl Summer's case. So he's hopping on that case, huh? Hmm. Oh, and it looks like the kitchen lady, Alice, is hopping on the Summer Wells case too. I'm still scrolling. There are a lot of videos that have nothing at all to do with Chris Watts, but they come up when you put in the name Chris Watts. That's it. Looks like a boring really, it looks like a boring day in the neighborhood. So that's interesting, isn't it? Some days there's one video after another, and now it looks like there's just a handful of them. Susan says, "Yeah, Sandy, I agree." So let's scroll up and see what Sandy said. Sandy said, "I feel like people are starting to move on." And Susan said, "Yes, Sandy, I agree." No way. Really, Happy Angie? I have not heard that. I haven't heard that at all. Interesting. Susan says, "No more CW for AD, only Patreon." Really? Although he has said that before, I wonder if he'll hold to it this time. Sandy says, "What bugs me is that people miss the mark and focus on the wrong stuff. Why are you the only one who speaks out about the abuse that was going on?" That's a good question. A very good question. And it's a very sad statement, I think, regarding our society as a whole. Why aren't we all focused on the abuse that was going on? And instead, those of us who are focusing on the abuse that was going on are the ones who they're saying are bad, right? There's nothing bad about caring about the fact that two little girls were murdered in what should have been the safety of their own home. So, what is up with the Summer Wells case, you guys? Do you think that the case is ever going to be solved, or do you think it's another really strange case that people are going to be talking about for years? Happy Angie says, "I also read where someone said," huh? Oh, Sandy stated she was going to take her YouTube channel down because of rude comments, but she was back up in 2 days, in like 2 days. Summer Breeze says, what about the abuse the rest of the Ruseks are doing now? Sandy says, you'd think people would want more awareness about it, but nope. Apparently, we are the bashers. Hey Lisa. Lisa says, on Reddit, they're rehashing the same CW stuff over and over. Mrs. Fluffer says, in the NA police interview, she and her son keep changing the time of stuff. Remember that one video where Honey Badger was taking a closer look at that NA or that interview of her son? And remember how Honey Badger said that it was like a continuous loop repeating? It's all weird, isn't it? And in the middle of it all, is Christopher Watts getting any sort of legal help? Right? Are his parents focused on getting him any sort of legal help? Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Woohoo. Paula. Paula. Hey, Paula. Okay, let's link you up here. I am so glad you're here, Paula. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. Copy. Paste. Okay, here we go. There you go. There's the link. Oh, wait, where did it go? I don't see the link. There it is. Ah. Good. Okay. The link is there. I didn't see it, but I see it now. There's a little thing that said new comments that I had to click on. I'm staring at my screen waiting for Paula. I know, Ray. We all did. We all did. Here's Paula. Okay. Add to stream. Hey, Paula.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, I'm so sorry for this. I'm so glad that you're still awake.
That's okay. Are we echoing? Are you kidding? I haven't had this problem. Are we or not? I can't tell. Maybe it's better now.
I don't hear any echoing, but it doesn't mean.
Okay.
Okay, so what on earth have you been up to, girl?
Well, I don't know how many people are familiar, but starting June the 3rd, out of the clear blue, after almost 11 months of being gone and totally away from the avocado, I started getting emails starting at 10:18 in the morning and continued till 3:42 that afternoon, one right after another. And they started out, first of all, she had to make sure she had in big, bold, black letters my husband's picture, his date of death, date of birth, that he was deceased, all of that. That was the first thing. And then the next thing was that she wanted to make sure she knew that apparently she doesn't think I know where I live because she did a background check on me and found out where I live, what I drive, did a criminal background check, checked about my kids, all kinds of stuff. And all through there, she's telling me I need to back the F off right now. All of us role mods need to quit and leave her alone. She's sick of us having all these channels out here and all these fake alt accounts and coming after her and her quote unquote administrators and her subs and blah, blah, blah. So I called Gypsy because I was about ready to lose it because 30 years ago, it wouldn't have been pleasant for her. and I've kind of shied away from through the years of being trying to act a little bit more sensible. So I tried responding back to her asking, look, I don't know what's going on. I'm not bothering you. I don't have any interest in bothering you. I don't want to bother you. I don't even want to be around you. And asking what her problem was and why she felt it necessary to do a check and put it, copy and paste it, and send all of our private information to us girls as a group to where we each one knew immediately could see anything that had to do with the other one, everything there was, which, you just don't do that stuff. That's, you dox people when you do that. And so anyway, I try, so what is it you want? I'm not bothering you. Please show me where I have all these channels. And she said, I've got a lawyer and this lawyer's going to come for you. Do you understand me? You and your homies, you comprende, and just all this stuff going to come after us. And I responded very nicely back to her. And finally I said, look, just, she told me, just stay off your channel, to stay off of YouTube. She's telling me what I can do and not do at 70 years old. She's putting demands on me.
So,
And
Paula, so she was telling you to stay off of this channel, you mean?
yeah, she told me to stay away from, I've seen you over there in Menses. You stay off the Menses. You stay off that channel. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what you just said about how she was accusing you of like coming after her or whatever? I had
Mm-hmm.
never heard of her before, ever. And all of a sudden she put a video up saying that I was in her comment threads and I was saying mean things and stuff. I didn't have a clue who she was. And I certainly was not using any alt accounts or anything. But that's one of the things that the scumbag attackers do is they say, you were in my channel, you were in my comment threads and you were saying whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that one other channel creator who was doing those phone calls to my home in the middle of the night?
I heard about
That's
that.
that's what her excuse was. She claimed that I was in her channel or in her comment threads under a different thing, supposedly. They know better. That's just how they try to get away with their BS. They know better. This is how they start out attacking people, is by saying, leave me alone, right? And then they can try to make it look like everyone's just fighting with each other instead of what it is. They're attacking innocent people. They're harassing you. To send you the information that she sent you and the crap messages that she sent you, that was all out harassment. It was meant to intimidate you. It was meant to frighten you. And it needs to be called out for what it is. There was no back and forth going on. It was, I think, another scumbag attacker trying to target innocent people in order to try to promote their own ridiculous agenda, like they're big, bad, and tough. So I will say this, good for you and good for, what'd she call them, your homies?
Yeah, we're her homies.
For
And
standing up to her. For standing up
and
to her.
yeah, and the thing about it is, she said, I've got people watching you. I know what you're doing. You're being watched. Yeah, telling me things like that, trying to really scare me. So anyway, I finally just told her, after being nice, I said, look, Kelly, I said, just send me your lawyer's name, address, his bar number, all that. She said, F off and don't bother me anymore. And I thought, what the hell? Don't bother you anymore? You're the one that's been harassing me all day. And I have, and you're saying that you're wanting me to stop? I said, that just shocked me. So anyway, the next one, we get another one a few days later and it goes, hello, psychos. That's the way that one started out. And again, another threats, and she's going to come after us. And she's going to, by the time she's done with me, her grandson's going to have a nice college fund, and we're going to regret this stuff. And I smeared her. She said, I smeared her over here on your channel. And, I said, look, I said, I spoke about my experience as a moderator for you and how we were told things and we were never given the answers. We were told the answers come out. You had the proof. We kept asking you for proof about certain things and you failed to do that. And when the final straw was when she had Daniel Bishop and Martin Dehan and Maureen Cook. They had Maureen Cook and Martin had all this proof, against AD and was going to bring it out and prove all this stuff to Daniel Bishop, which nothing ever happened. And of course, that was the night I ended up in the hospital with those heart problems. But nevertheless, she put it back that, well, she was sick that night in the bathroom vomiting. Um, and she was sick herself. But we'd never heard of that or anything. But anyway, so the next thing we know, we turn around and we're getting actually Gypsy and I and another lady tired of it. And we were going to have a public platform to go to, channel that where anybody could come there. Not anything to do with crime, not anything to do with the Watts case, nothing to do with anything but giving people a platform to where they could tell their story. And we started putting the proof out, putting facts out and documents and dates and timestamps. And she still then later decided she sent us an apology letter. She wanted to do an apology, wanted us to accept her apology, of course, on her terms. And, we we asked to talk to her. She said she didn't have time. She had, of course, everything's got to be on her terms and her time. So anyway, we let that go. So she went publicly that night to actually read her apology letter. We couldn't even get in to there. We were blocked. We couldn't leave comments. We couldn't even see it. We had to wait and have another lady get it underneath. I don't know how you do it. You go underneath a no account or something. And that way you can, and that's the only way we got to view it. We didn't even know what it was about. And actually 15 minutes later, you're not going to believe this, but we were then become the bitches. We were all the bitches. And that's what she allowed and continued trashing us in her chat. That continued and continued. But she said, I'm not going to pay any attention to my chat. So, but you know what? That was all pre-planned. She knew those girls were going to come at us again. And she knew we had no way of defending ourselves again. So, like I said, we started coming out with a lot of stuff. And she's continued to try to come for us. She even exposed some things on a couple of women that was in confidence and about their children and grandchildren and put it out there. And I mean, she's gone as low as she can go. And she kept saying, I never would have reacted to anything if it hadn't been for Gypsy. I always do what Gypsy tells me to do. She's the leader of everything. I finally just had to lose it and come down on her and tell her, I'm 70 years old. Stop going there. Nobody tells me how to feel or how to react. Do you seriously think that I have to depend on somebody else for my emotions and my reactions, that I wouldn't have reacted if somebody hadn't told me I needed to react? This is the stuff she was implying. And also we found she's not an advocate. She doesn't have any license. She never has had. She went to school, but she never finished. Never got a degree or anything.
Whoa,
And
whoa, whoa, whoa. Sorry, Paula. She claims that she has all sorts of degrees, doesn't she? Doesn't she claim she has a degree in psychology?
And forensic science or some kind of science.
Right.
And domestic violence and sexual assault. No, the school she went to, she never finished. She studied there, and later on she did say, no, I don't have those degrees. And now again she's gone back, said, yeah, she does have it again, but she doesn't. There's no degrees. Everybody searched. She'd never finished school. She never did anything.
I didn't know that. Yeah, the last I heard, she had all sorts of degrees, and she was so highly, well qualified, right?
Yeah, right. But she kept saying, I've come into some money and I'm going to come after you all and all this stuff. Well, do you know that I didn't even know this? We told her to not get involved with this family because advocates don't get involved on a personal basis with, victims of a crime.
Exactly. That is such an important point, I think, for us, if you don't mind me interrupting again.
No, I don't mind.
The way she behaved, the way she was attacking innocent people, the way she was threatening innocent people. I absolutely took her video that she created against Cindy Watts and me as nothing short of a threat. She was saying, I'm coming for you, Mensa, stuff like that. That's a threat. I'm sorry. And for her to be claiming she was any sort of advocate for anybody, that is not how an advocate behaves ever. And yet, there they were, right in the comment threads, people using profiles with the names of the family members, applauding her. Applauding her. That is not how it works. An advocate is neutral. An advocate stands by their side. An advocate doesn't say, this is their channel and everything I say is by their direction, and then run off attacking people the way she does. That's not an advocate at all.
Well, the thing about it is, we found out the end of May, she lost her shit on Martin Dehan and some people on there. She was threatening to have guys come over there and get rid of him and stuff. I mean, she was going full blown. And I mean, the stuff out of that woman's mouth, oh my gosh, you wouldn't have believed the threats and the stuff, because we didn't know that when she did it, the family had already decided to part ways from her. And you know what? The dirtiest and the lowest weapon she could have turned around and used, which I thought was no matter what, she loaned Frankie Rusick money, and she turned around and demanded that money back. And Frank and Sandy paid that money, $520 back. And it's all over her community page. She posted it all about their text messages and the payments she made to him and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she loaned money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, again, something that an advocate does not do. Okay? And then you're saying that his parents paid her back because she was demanding repayment then?
Yes.
Okay. And then she's going public with any of that information?
Yes, she put it all on her community page. She posted all the payment withdrawals she made, and where they had corresponded back and forth. But there's a little bit more to that. I can't, due to confidentiality, I can't get into. But there was another ploy behind Frankie getting that money. There
Well,
just
and
was. I mean,
I
for
think
another purpose. Yeah.
I think good for the parents to walk away from
Mhm.
her, definitely, because she was very clearly presenting herself as if she was their mouthpiece.
Mhm.
And, she was basically, I think, opening them up for some issues from the people she was attacking, right? If she's
Mhm.
going to sit there and say she's their mouthpiece, and then what comes out of her mouth is, a boatload of threats, then, good for them for walking away from her. At the same time, I think they walked right on over to that kitchen. And,
Mhm.
there's another one who, the first time I ever heard of her was when she posted a terrible, angry, hate-filled video against Cindy Watts and me. It's incredible to me that these people claim that they're at all trying to help anybody by presenting themselves as hate-filled, aggressive, mean, icky people, and then they say they represent the family. Like, no, that isn't representing the family. That's, you know what I'm saying. Good
Yeah.
for them for walking away from the avocado, but
Mhm.
I think they might want to think again about the whole kitchen idea.
Mhm. Well, the way I look at, I'm just to the point to where, I, I don't think, people are never going to, this is a case that people are going to probably talk about 20 years from now. And as long as it's put out here and blasted all over for the wrong reasons and stuff, it's going to be talked about, it's just going to be talked about. And the people and family and stuff, they're not going to get any, relief. And I don't know personally. I think if I was him, I would just stay off of YouTube in any way, shape, or form I could. So nobody had the chance of, just don't even look at it. Don't associate with it. Don't have anything. I know that's easier said than done. I might change my mind if I was in, their situation. But the whole point that she thought that she was going to use that against me on this channel, and she made sure everybody knew that I was over here on your channel, and that I come in here and I got up here. But the first thing out of my mouth, she got over there and she trashed Shanann. She trashed Shanann all over. That's all she was doing, is just smashing her all over. No, Kelly, that's not what I was doing. We were discussing things, and like I said, we were discussing things, questions and stuff, and answers and stuff that were in the discovery. We were looking at things in videos. We were reviewing other things, and on top of that, it wasn't just about the Watts case. We have talked about other things also, but she's so fixated on a one-way pattern of destroying us girls because we're not there anymore.
Right.
And
And I think, quite frankly, I think maybe you guys know too much.
could be, mm, could be, but we don't care. There's nothing, we don't want involved in any of it. We could care less, what the family did. We told her a long time ago, don't get mixed up with the family. And she was flirting with Frankie and he was flirting with her, and it started out as a flirtatious thing. We told her not to do that. We told her not to get involved in AD, to leave all these channels alone out here. They're not bothering you. Don't bother them. But she felt she had to go after them because she was going to protect the family and she was going to be the family savior. I mean,
Right, right. And in fact, has she ever joined the discussion? No. Has she ever focused on the case itself? No. Has she ever engaged in any conversation at all? A true advocate would be concerned about the things that we've discussed about what we see when we watch that video of poor little Bella getting sprayed in the face. A true advocate would be concerned about the nervous tics and the bald spots and the vocabulary. Okay. A true advocate would be asking those questions, and it wouldn't be considered bashing anybody. It would be caring about the fact that two little girls were murdered, and they should have been protected. And with all of those videos online before they were murdered, it sure seems to me like there was plenty of evidence leading up to the tragedy to say, hey, these girls need to be protected. A true advocate would care about that and would be discussing it and wouldn't just be, personally, I think she goes after other channels just to try to act like she's some kind of a tough chick or something. There is nothing weaker, in my opinion, nothing weaker than somebody who has to come right out of the chute making threats. That's speaking from a place of insecurity, ignorance, laziness, all sorts of, you know, great words to
well,
describe it.
one thing that bothers me is when we found out at one time, she told us, and this is what she does, and we found out it was totally wrong. She was a sub to a channel called TP. Okay. And then she said she'd become a moderator over there, which we found out she never was. But she was over there telling them she was going to start a GoFundMe to go after Nicole Kissinger. That was her first intent at doing stuff before she ever went this other way. And we didn't even know about it. We wasn't even aware about that.
Well, and then a long time after that, she appeared on that same channel going on and on how Cindy Watts was not a victim and how the law that they were going to have passed would protect victims, the families of the victims and everything. And then she, during that live chat, determined that actually Cindy Watts isn't really a victim, because she has said bad things. So I guess it's all up to the avocado who's a victim and who isn't. Again, not at all how an advocate behaves. That was the live chat where all of a sudden Christopher Watts' sister texted TP, texted him during the live chat. And I remember saying to Cindy, this is not okay. Why on earth does she even have his text number, right? That was when my antenna started to swirl, that I'm like, how connected is Christopher Watts' sister to some of these channels that are absolutely targeting and harassing channels in their, crusade, I guess, to help do whatever, I'm not sure, probably to help build their channels, I think.
Well, we already knew but like I said, we were pretty sure when we found it late, probably a few days later, we were already going to be on our way out because others had um, all the research that Gypsy had done for trying to figure out on these laws and stuff, and all the information that she had gave Kelly and Kelly used so freely, taking it as her own research. um, we already found out that we were already going to be on our way out, and that channel was started behind our back. It was gone ahead and started set up behind our back. We didn't even know that it had been set up. That channel was set up, and other people had told her to get rid of us, and that's the truth. We were to be gone. They needed to get rid of us. I guess we asked too many questions. The only thing I can figure out, you know.
Well, and what was the law all about anyway? Because anytime anybody asked what was the law, tell us what the law is, it wasn't about evidently what the law was. It was about, I think it sounded to me like it was more about send us some money so we can get the law. Well, what law? Because isn't it true that the state already has the laws in place for whatever law they were trying to get passed?
Well, yeah, that's true. And the only thing different about it, uh, the best I can explain, was because trying to get like to where people couldn't go on like a platform like YouTube, you know, international, and I guess talk about crime cases and stuff, and making big money off of it. I think that, and bullying the family. That was the thing that the focus of trying to get that stopped to where, you know, but just like it's here, you know, it doesn't cost you anything here to try to, you have to have go to certain places and do a lot of paperwork and things, but it doesn't really cost you any money to try to get laws on the table. But it's a lengthy process, and it's not going to happen. I don't know what the money was needed for. We was told the money was needed so they could go after AD over in England.
I have a question, Paula. With all of your connection with the avocado, did she ever provide any proof to you guys that the family was ever actually bullied or harassed?
I think I explained that long time ago. That was something we did ask for proof on, and the only thing what I told her was I have to go back and look at the video that Frank Sr. did in front of the house, and when the reporters asked him directly if he had been harassed or bullied in any way, and he said no, not personally. So when we didn't get any answers, I had to just kind of take it that I don't know where the bullying and the harassing was coming from, but the way he implied, like they weren't at that time. Now, it may have
Right,
changed after that, but we were never
right.
privy to any of that information. No.
At that time, I think he said that people were sending him information, but they were people evidently who were connected with him somehow, right? That they, like, I mean, it wasn't like people were harassing him with information. It was like people were sending him information that they saw online that they figured he wouldn't like, I think is how that was going.
Right. From all
So,
over several, I think 2 or 3 countries, and then right here in the United States. Yes,
right.
people
So,
were seeing things. Yeah, I'm just stirring it up. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so it seems to me like if anyone was harassing him at the time, it would have been the people who were contacting him with whatever, screenshots. And we've seen how they create fake profiles. We've seen how they use our photos and our names and our family's names, right?
Hmm.
Who knows what they're sending them? I personally think that the scumbag attackers created the appearance as if people were saying all sorts of terrible things, and then they gathered up their little self created crap and sent it on to the families, both sides of the family, trying to connect with the families, trying to act like they were the inside, they had the inside scoop and they were the saviors or something. I think they
Hmm.
created the appearance of BS and then they sold it to the families that there was BS going on, and they've been stirring the pot ever since.
Well, I do know I found a clip, and we had discussed this and brought it to people's attention too. that one lady, her name's Maureen Cook, and she's from over there. And she's the one that said, made the statement that there was a script out here, and some nasty woman was the one that was responsible for the script that was passed around for all these different creators to go by. And that really rang a bell to me. And I thought, yeah, then this is something that's just been all this big money that people have send people and give them these big super chats. It's
Right.
apparently it's all a setup because it's just money being passed from one to the other just to make it look different than what it
Exactly.
was.
Exactly.
Hmm.
It's organized, it's orchestrated, and it's disgusting.
There's just, but my main problem was she's not going to tell me whose channel I can associate with, who I can talk to. The only reason I haven't even been here is because I do not want the wrath of hell coming down on you, in the
Aw,
chat and
that's
getting
sweet of you, Paula.
trolled in here, and all this stuff going on. I said, I'm just going to steer it away from her because I know they've come for you too many times. It's just like that lady called Dr. B. They did threaten her and stuff, and I
Yep.
know she said she's even thought your stuff is interesting and likes to listen to you and your information and stuff. So anybody that they don't think fits their narrative at the time, they're going to go after.
Well,
It
and we're
just
an actual discussion channel where we can talk about any and all parts of this case, and we can do so freely without being attacked. And if people start attacking us, then we delete them. You know,
mm,
if I mean anybody's welcome to come here and discuss the case, they're not welcome to come here and try to attack us. And I think really when you look around, I don't know of any other channels where you can freely discuss the case. I don't know of any. I
yeah,
mean, I'm
and
not trying to sound like totally, black and white here, but name any channel and pretty much if you make the wrong comment, if they catch a hint that you may not be drinking the Kool-Aid, then you're out of there. You're blocked. You're immediately blocked, or you're ridiculed, or you're blocked and then ridiculed, It's like it's almost like this whole thing was organized right from the very start to have total control over any discussion on this case.
yeah, and it's not just been about this. I mean, there was also for some reason, Kelly and this Maureen Cook thought they was going to get up on a panel and discuss when it come to different people with different sexual or like gays and different ones. I don't know all the titles and stuff, but she got up there. Kelly got up there and said because her son was gay that she could have him listen to this one guy's voice and he would be able to tell her what kind if this guy was actually gay and what kind and the way he was, whether he was,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was just incredible. So we was also um, doing stuff about that because she was way out of line going after people about things like that. It's none of her business, and her making a statement like that to begin with, that's just totally crazy. Gonna listen
Well,
to her,
that
shoot,
kind of a statement coming from somebody who claims to have a lot of different college degrees, and I think she, the whole thing of claiming she has a degree in psychology and everything, it kind of shows that maybe she doesn't.
yeah. Hmm. I mean, it's just there's not going to be. I think that channel's been took down anyway for that Shanann loss. There's not going to be one. We researched that. We were told we were right in the middle of it was election year. There was the virus, pandemic going on, and if anything, it would have to wait till after the election and when things had got back, settled down and to where people could offices started opening again. But they'd already said that it wasn't going to go anyplace because there wasn't anything that we already had laws here in this country in place already,
Right,
here.
right. And I
And
still, I still question why it was that it seems to me there was never a defined. I guess their goal was never defined. That when anyone said what is Shannon's law, they never got an answer. If you're trying to get a new law passed, pretty much you should know what law you're trying to get passed, right? But
right,
they never gave a straight answer as far as, I'm referring again to that TP interview of the avocado. where midstream she's deciding whether or not Cindy Watts is really a victim. It's like that isn't how it works. And yet it seems to be how the rhetoric has been going from the start is, oh, we need a law. We need a law for what? Because anything I've heard so far about this supposed law would definitely protect you and me, Paula. They can't simply say, well, it's going to protect this list of people, but to hell with that list of people. If there's a new law against bullying on YouTube, then guess what? I've been getting bullied for 3 years. So hopefully, the same people who are supposedly wanting some new law to help protect people on YouTube realize that law would be protecting us.
Right. And I think too it was because of being in another country, and the first priority, the way I understand, was the money was mainly to be used for lawyers to go after AD and to get him to stop talking about the case and to stop making money off the case. That was the number one thing, to use that money for that. And the second thing was to get a law passed to where people could not profit off of a murdered family, that they couldn't do that.
That makes no sense, because then they would have to go to 60 Minutes, Discovery Channel, Netflix, Dr. Phil, every single mainstream media platform, and they would have to say, turn over your profits because you are profiting off of a murdered family, right? Where do they draw the line? And who are they to say whether or not any channel creator, well, by the way, they're raking in the money. If you listen to the kitchen, the Alice Cooper routine, she'll sit right there while the money's getting thrown at her. She'll sit right there and say that people shouldn't be making money off the case while she's making money off the case.
I tell you, I tried to just stay clear from even looking into anything else that has to do with this case, because this case is so toxic. It just I've never seen anything that there's been a lot of murder cases, that have been solved, but I mean, this case, I don't get it, why people make it to be such a big different, where people want to just continuously go, after everybody on it. I don't get it.
I think it's important to remember, though, that the attacks started right at the start, right at the beginning. Those Facebook groups were formed like within a day or two of the headlines. Back in August of 2018, the attacks started immediately. They targeted people immediately. I was on vacation. I had never heard of this stupid case, and I was being attacked already. So they targeted people to make it appear as if, and again, I think the scumbag attackers created BS, and then they reached out to the family saying, you need our help. We can help you. So I don't think it's so much the case itself. I think it's this organized group of scumbag attackers who, right from day one, were setting out to control this case narrative so that they could, I think, promote their channels, make whatever money they could, keep the families fighting, keep the families thinking that they were, being unduly harassed or whatever. That's the difference, I think, between this case and every other case. Do you remember right after this case, there was another one, Kelsey Barrett, I think, in Colorado? Her mother was approached by a lot of people from social media, and she went public and said, stop it. Leave us alone. Don't you dare try to use my daughter's case for whatever you've got going on. She put a stop to it immediately. I think in the case of Christopher Watts, I think the families answered their phones. I think they believed the crap they were being told. And I think they engaged with the people who, in my opinion, were there not to help the families at all. They were there to help themselves to some free money if they could latch onto this case and try to control it.
Yeah.
You don't hear the Kelsey Barrett case anyway, because her mom put a stop to it immediately. She saw through their crap. and she put a stop to it immediately. And I think it's never too late for the families to do that in this case, to say, stop it, enough already, leave us alone. And like, I agree with you, Paula. I personally think that the families should just avoid any sort of social media platform across the board.
Well, do you know I was even accused of being the Paula on Plunder? Mm-mm. I was accused of being that. I was accused of that being my channel. Mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And I thought, oh, I don't even know. I don't even know how to get in and out of these stupid things like this. I mean, and do all this stuff. I mean, it's just crazy to think that I could do that, load all these videos and do all the stuff that lady's done. But I just don't understand why there's certain people just have to feel like they have to go after people that talk about this case. I just don't understand. I just don't.
Well, they don't want free discussion on the case. They don't want people talking about the obvious. They want people to be living in fear that, they're too afraid to comment. They're too afraid to state their opinion. When this case first, like I would say, like within the first month, there were many people on social media who were saying they did not believe that Christopher Watts killed anybody. And I think that's part of the I guess all the noise that's going on, is that I think that the people who were in place to try to control the narrative were absolutely in place to try to keep people too afraid to state their opinion, if their opinion was that Christopher Watts didn't kill anybody.
Right. But when I say the family, I don't know. It's just like these GoFundMe's and all this stuff it just keep it all. I just don't think it's right. I mean, nobody's producing anything that's resulted from the money that was raised, and it's made a lot of people mad that give money to that, and they're questioning that, and all they want. And now a lot of people are just saying, at this point, I don't care what happened to the money, really, but could you tell us if the money, no matter if the money went for this or that, but just tell us what the money was spent on, show us something to account for this money that these people donated.
Well, and wasn't the money supposed to go for putting, I think there were 3 or 4 of us they were going to put in prison for life, I think was the phrase they used, and also to hire lawyers to shut these people down, right? Well, and to get the law passed too, right? It doesn't take any money to get a law passed. You don't pay money to get somebody put in prison for life. Mm-hmm. And who the hell are they to think they should be shutting down any channel that might be discussing any case? We can discuss the Scott Peterson case. We can discuss the O.J. Simpson case. We can discuss any case we want to discuss. And also, we can sit here and say Stephen Avery is innocent, even though he isn't. But we can say that, and we can get a petition going of 100,000 people saying he's innocent. And that's okay. Nobody's getting attacked for saying Stephen Avery is innocent. But if you dare say that you believe that Christopher Watts may have been telling the truth when he said he did not murder his children, then watch out, because your families are going to get harassed. Your employers are going to be harassed. They're going to create all sorts of nonsense. There's a real danger when people are led to believe that there's only one opinion on a true crime case that is acceptable to voice. There's a real danger.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, I just again, I think it was also, well, another point I think was to get people to stop with. I don't think it was so much talking about discussing the case when I began to get a little information on that. It was all the conspiracy theories that AD was coming up with, like involving NK, because she'd already been cleared. They wanted that part dropped. They want him to quit. Going after certain areas that and to not pursue all these different vehicles and different things. That was another focus. I think that they were trying to get people to. They had a problem with him, going.
So I have a question, Paula. Do you believe that? Do you believe that they actually are against AD? Or do you believe it's all part of the plan? The to keep the case in the forefront of the social media discussions. Do you think the AD is just some random guy who's over in England with a true crime channel who they're offended by, or do you think that he's actually part of the BS?
I've been back and forth on that, and you know, I know I just seen the other day where he's taking this case off of YouTube, but just in Patreon. He's not going to be discussing the Watts case anymore. But I heard he said he also wrote a book about it. I mean, I don't know. There's just so much new stuff that's coming out. And one minute I think it's just to put it out here and keep people to something to talk about and, uh, and then other times, but I don't know. He blocked the family. He wouldn't let him come in there and say anything or do anything. So I don't know. You know, uh, there's definitely something going on, um, and I don't know if it's because it's a direct problem the family has um, with him. I think some of it is, but I think also it's some of the stuff that AD wants to keep going with these series that really get under their skin. You know, um, I don't know. At this point, I
Yeah,
don't know. I'm
I
totally
know.
confused about some of this stuff. Period.
And there's the word right there, confused, because
Mhm.
that's part of, I think, what the scumbag attackers were put in place to do, was to keep the confusion rolling. You know, I think AD is actually involved. I think that it's all a bunch of BS that anybody wants to shut down AD. I think that what they want is to be able to use AD. AD doesn't mind because he keeps getting more subs. And I think that's how they keep it going, the momentum going to keep this case going. I have a lot of different discussion groups on a lot of different true crime cases. The case of Christopher Watts is not the popular true crime case that people want to talk about. It isn't. And I've noticed over the last almost 3 years that when the attention on this case absolutely dies down to next to nothing, then that's when all of a sudden we're hearing how, offended everybody is by anybody saying who knows what, right? All of a sudden it's a big deal. And then you stand back and go, what? Nobody was even talking about this case. Or very few people have actually been talking about this case, and yet it's the number one whatever. Or a good example, I think, is leading up to that 1 year anniversary. There were a couple of months there where people just didn't care about this case at all. And then all of a sudden, there was that end of the driveway interview, and everyone started talking about the case again. And then right before the Netflix movie came out, same thing. Interest in this case was dying down to next to nothing. And then the Netflix movie came out and off to the races again. So if you really don't want AD or anybody talking about the case, then stop talking about the case. There's something so disingenuous about Alice Cooper sitting there saying, stop talking about the case while she's talking about the case. I don't think they want anybody to stop talking about the case. I think that they want AD to keep going because that's the only way, AD and every other person they're attacking, because that's the only way that they can feed off of each other, meaning like the avocado types, that they have any content at all. I do agree, though, about the toxicity level with this case, because I have never seen so much evil in one little, corner of YouTube.
Well, yeah, and there's a lot of cases out here. I actually tried a little bit of a uh, experiment here a few months ago. Before, well, it's been more than a few months now, but when we were, and even when I was in the hospital, I even asked some of the nurses up there, just in general, or talking when they come there and just be talking to me for a little bit, and I'd be watching something on television, something come up, and I said, "Did you hear about this Chris Watts murder case in Colorado?" No. Never heard anything about it? No. Pretty popular case. No. Don't
Yeah,
believe I heard about that. You
yeah,
know.
it really isn't popular. If you remember that Netflix movie, I had people contact me who knew that for the last couple years at that point that I had been getting attacked. My kids had been getting harassed. My employers were getting weird phone calls, right? Only because they knew that was supposedly connected to the case of Christopher Watts, whether or not my opinion was right or not, they would contact me. I was contacted after that Netflix movie came out, and the reaction was astounding. I was astounded to learn that the people who watched that movie, who reached out to me, were saying, "Okay, so tell me, which one of the parents killed the kids?" Like that was their takeaway from the movie, was that they were confused about which one of the parents killed the kids. So the real life people who aren't involved at all with any of the social media baloney, the real, everyday person, either A, has never heard of this case, B, they've heard of it and they don't care about this case, or C, they're wondering which parent killed the kids. That's a far cry from what we're seeing on Watts Island or in Watts Village or on Planet Watts, right? Where everybody supposedly believes that Christopher Watts is a monster and his wife, was a saint.
And well, that when I talked to people, they were more interested in the pros and cons of the Jodi Arias case and Casey Anthony case. Those cases there, people were more,
Yes.
and Betty Broderick. I mean,
Yes.
that case been a long time ago, but people are still at very high controversy over Betty Broderick.
Exactly. And I see that with the book
Darlie
titles too.
Ratier, yes.
Yeah, Darlie Ratier and Betty Broderick are the two that anything I've written on either case that they sell every single month. When I get the reports, the Christopher Watts books are pretty lame, really. The Betty Broderick case, oh my gosh, I think I have like 350 people waiting to be approved for the Betty Broderick discussion group, and I just don't have the time lately to take a look at it, right? Those are the cases people care about. Those are the cases people have been discussing for decades without anybody getting attacked, without anybody being harassed. That's how true crime works. That's how the true crime discussions work. We discuss our opinions no matter what our opinions are, and nobody cares where you work or where, any other stupid accusations. Nobody is going on that level. But with the case of Christopher Watts, there were 2 Facebook groups formed immediately when this case hit the headlines. Both claimed to have 15,000 members immediately, like within a week or two, okay? I think the first week in September, both of those groups claimed they had 20,000 members each. That is not how true crime case discussion groups work. My Darlie Ratier case discussion group has 1,000 members, steady and strong, for a decade. Okay, that's how case discussion groups work. They form, they grow slowly, and then they either stay or they don't. As far as whether or not the group is interesting, to have the claim that they have 15,000 members right off the bat is bullshit. It is bull. And yet, those are the 2 groups that were used to dox, to attack, to harass, to post absolutely terrible comments about those of us they had targeted to attack. Those 2 groups. And then when Plunder came along, Plunder's comment threads were the breeding ground for attacks. The channels that were used to attack those of us, there were like 10 of us right at the beginning. I'm talking at the very beginning. There were certain channels that 3 come to mind right off the bat that were used to over and over again post lies and slander and defamation about those of us they were attacking. This was organized, and it was, I think, created with a lot of these same scumbag attackers buying subs, buying members, using many fake profiles. I mean, it's all a farce. I think the actual number of people interested in discussing the case of Christopher Watts is very small.
Well,
I think the majority of people who have been engaged with all this crap going on with this case,
Well, I was just going to say my main problem with any of this stuff is when YouTube, it's YouTube, but when it goes real life on people, that's where it gets serious. And I don't care what case it is. When people start going after people in real life, their family, their children, their jobs, um, their life, and telling people they have people watching them and people calling their job and calling their kids and threatening people. That's where I have a serious problem. That's where
Well,
it
and they
takes
were
a different turn.
they were
A,
doing that right at the start. They were
mm,
that was part of this whole package right from the start. They were harassing family members, they were harassing employers right at the very beginning.
to me, I think it was, in my own opinion, a little bit from what I've been able to figure out now. I think it was just people were just trying to do that and figured they could scare everybody off, but a few selected groups or a few selected people to continue
Right.
discussing certain cases, and they wanted to scare everybody off, and they thought if they scared everybody off, they didn't have to worry about those people coming up with any ideas or getting subs, letting their channel grow. I think that's what the whole problem is. These channels are so jealous of each other in a
Yes.
lot of ways, and it got out of control. Not all of them, but a lot of them, it was set out to actually go after
Well, and
other channels.
this wasn't their first rodeo either, because at least those first three that I referred to earlier, they boldly claimed that they've been working together for 3 years. That was back in 2018, that they started working together in 2015. So they were already organized. They were already trying it out. In the UK, they had started, I think, in 2012, I think it was. So they had a little more experience going on. But the people in the United States, they started their organized crap in 2015, according to them. And they had been working together already for 3 years by the time the case of Christopher Watts came along. I want to address something Ray asked, is plunder not good? I'm not saying that any channel is good or bad, but I am saying that when a channel allows their comment threads to be used to dox people, to harm people, to harass people, to promote hatred and violence against people, in my opinion, that's the channel creator's responsibility to prevent that from continuing. Scott Reich is the only channel creator who I have respect for from the very start, who, when he saw the crap that was starting in his comment threads, I sent him one message, one, and I said, please take a look at your comment threads, something to that effect, this is what's going on. He said that he would have his assistant address it immediately, and his assistant cleared out the crap from those comment threads, and he does not allow people to use his comment threads to harm other people, to harass other people, to promote hatred against other people. The Plunder channel allows their comment threads to be used to harm and harass other people. Those Facebook groups that claim they had so many members, they were used daily to harm and harass other people. Even any random channel, if you go into a chat and you see people attacking other people, a common comment is, oh, I've seen you on Mensa's channel, right? And then it begins. Then where's the channel creator? Why isn't the channel creator putting a stop to it? A lot of people say negative things about that Natasha. One thing I respect about Natasha big time is she'll sit right up there and say, stop it. Stop it. She'll call people out no matter who they're hating on, right? That's what channel creators need to do. If they want to be on YouTube, I think it's the channel creators' responsibility to make sure, is the best that they can, that they're keeping their comments, anything that's up there, clean of any sort of negative crap or harassment or hatred. Opinions are fine, but when you're coming into a channel and all you can do is spew a bunch of venom against another person, you're not there to discuss the case, right? And even the ones who say they're the drama channel, it doesn't mean that you're there to just I mean, what is with allowing the doxing? What is with I have a really hard time believing that either side of the family would even begin to pretend that it's okay for people to be abused and harassed and for their families to be harassed, because I mean, at the same time they're saying they don't want to be harassed. Well, okay, then obviously it isn't okay for anybody to be harassed, right? And yet so many channels, so many groups on Facebook, they're used for the sole purpose of harming and harassing others.
Well, I have a couple of things I wanted to address. Okay, this is a major problem we had with also with Kelly. She was allowing certain ones of her mods to go around in other channels and make. I was accused by one of threatening to shoot Kelly, if you can believe that. It was put in another creator's comment section that they call me by my name, had threatened to shoot Kelly.
Oh my goodness. You've got to be kidding me.
No, I'm not. And then the next thing we knew, uh, Kelly posted on her community page, it was one of the other mods that had threatened to harm her. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
That's a problem I have, and I think creators, when she sat back and she incites these people to go around and do this. And okay, there was one lady that was left here a while back that actually walked away. She could see how Kelly was falling apart. She told her, she said, "You need to really just get away from this. It's affecting you. You're doing things. You're yelling and screaming." She tried to stay there to support her. Well, she actually went over on Natasha's channel to do an interview, and Kelly did. She went over there to do an interview with Natasha about this, and this lady was in the chat, and she was never allowed to respond to anything. And
Really?
anybody, I'm serious. And it was, Kelly knew, okay, and also Kelly was asked a direct question by people, and Natasha repeated it. She said, somebody's saying that you asked the family, and if it was okay, you asked if it was okay for it that you could be called Shanann. And she did. She asked that. We have the video of that. We have a thing where she said, in one of them, I am Shanann. And where
Okay,
she was
that's
using
just
Shanann's
creepy.
pictures with her. She was using Shanann's pictures to send out emails to people. Okay,
Okay,
this is how creepy this stuff's getting.
that
Hmm.
is super creepy.
But she didn't want to be called down there. Oh, anybody that would do that, they're crazy. That's just a lie. But you know what? We had to go on and do a live and bring it out and show it to people. We had to show the proof. But we never got an apology for that woman. Never got an apology for allowing, Kelly to attack like that. And she bald faced like she went over on, I think Molly Golightly's and did an interview there. But she took her interview down because she got information where she did lie to her, and she took it down. She wouldn't let it stay up. Once she found out she lied to her, that stuff was gone.
So
It was
when she
gone.
was asked directly by Natasha, did she ever say that about um her wanting to use the name Shanann or
She
Shannon?
said she said I never called myself Shanann. And she said, well, did you call uh them mama and dad? She said, yeah, I called them Mama Sandy and Papa Frank. Yeah, I did. And of course I think that's very inappropriate too. If you're an advocate and you are supposed to be there representing and protecting the victims of a crime, of a family. I mean, like this. You don't, these are things an advocate does not do in any,
Exactly.
you just don't get
Exactly.
involved like this. You don't do these kind of things. But if you call her
Exactly.
out on those, I didn't do that. Only crazy people would do that. But yeah, she did.
Did
And
you did you know, I guess, did you ever kind of question why are all of these people having her up on their panel? I mean, what is she
uh,
trying to do? Is she like trying to do a reframe or something and present herself as somebody she isn't?
Now she's trying to hang on by a thread because she's being exposed. Um, and we put those emails that come out. We went on there and we put it out, and people didn't because when you start threatening people in real life, like she was doing, and it
Right.
wasn't just one, it was several of us, and you kept it going, and you were the ones that contacted them, and then they're trying to respond to you in a nice way, and then you in the end tell them to F off and not bother you. And then the
Yep.
next thing you get another one and it's still threatening. And then the next time you turn around, there's going to be an apology letter. And people don't expect people to respond to this. We sat back for 10 months, other than when I come on your live those couple of times and told about what went on over there. And we talked about other things. Nobody had a chance to ever put anything out there about what she had done. She's actually gone so far as getting mad at somebody and following them around. Kelly would follow them around from to other creators and go in their chat and go after those people. I mean, go after people that she had a problem with after we left. And I mean, it's crazy. I don't. She seems to. And these women, there's two or three. One woman is a little bit younger than me, and she sits there all the time. And even this is what Kelly said during the apology letter. She said, "MB's going to be up here by me to kind of make sure I don't lose it."
Wow.
Okay, yeah, okay. Well, why does first of all, and then she come at us girls? Well, there's three of you up there. I can get up here and talk uh, all day by myself. Well, I never see her up there talking anytime during a live by herself. But it's different when there's one person that has something to do with the channel and two or three that have something. Yeah, there's going to be more than one of them up there on the panel and doing things. We had no choice to do
Right.
something
Well, that's
to
the
where,
thing. You guys had moved on. You guys had left it all
yeah,
behind you, and you moved on with your lives. But evidently, I think she was probably trying to create the appearance that she was some sort of victim. And
yeah,
again, for content. What else does she talk about?
yeah.
What is she always talking about is how she's either going after someone or someone's going after her. I don't hear her discussing the case. And if she had
And
any of the degrees she claimed to have, she would be discussing this case. Hey Paula, I just sent you an email with a
mhm,
question because I couldn't find how to send a comment thingy. So I
mhm.
went ahead and just sent you an email with a question, but
In the
don't.
private chat, or back here,
Oh, that's how I send you. Okay, I'll do it here
you can
too.
send it back here. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I just found that. Okay. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. Okay, and
That's okay.
don't say this out loud. I'm just gonna
Oh,
put
I
it
won't.
here in case it's something that you want to discuss.
Okay.
There. Okay. Send.
Okay. Let me look
Do you,
at it.
if that's something you want to discuss, I thought that might be kind of interesting. But if it's not something, that's okay too.
No, I
Uh,
don't have a problem. Um, and talking about that, it was stated that she was willing to pay. She was trying to get another person to pay. She was going to pay another person to try to find information on anybody that was going after her or didn't like her. People that didn't like her. She was wanting to pay somebody to find people that didn't like her or had a problem with her. Yeah.
so then she was going to fork over money to another channel creator to
Mm-hmm.
basically try to dig in and find out people who were against her.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so remember when I was talking that time about how they're mining information, they're watching the chats, they'll come up
Mm-hmm.
alongside you and say they agree with you when really they're just trying to find out what your opinion is or how far out there, who agrees with who and whatever. So
Right.
then the other channel creator may have done a live chat saying, this is what I think, and then go ahead and turn the names over to her of people who disagreed. You think is that what they were looking for?
Yeah, or people that just didn't like her. But you know, uh, the other, well, I don't know how to explain this. Let me think about it for a minute. I want to address this other issue. But okay, the minute that the family backed away from Kelly and May, this is when everything started really going downhill. That's when she was really beginning to get psychotic and doing lives and screaming and yelling and cussing people out and threatening people. And then that was around, she did this thing, and there's a channel called, and they don't care about anybody knowing, called Tummy Rumbling. She's got or he or she, they've got a clip of that video on May the 29th, where she went after um, Martin and some others and was threatening them and saying people were watching him and going to come for him and we're going to come for him and all this stuff and just cussing people out from one end to the other. And then that was the 29th of May. And then the 3rd of June, these emails come. I find that, and the family had just walked away from her. So was that what triggered this? The family was no longer, couldn't
So
back her.
the family walked away from her, and then she decided she needed to regroup.
Retaliate.
Yeah.
And attack people. Yeah. And it's like, and the thing about it was, just like with me and Gypsy, we didn't even, other than when I'd been, talking in your chat, in your lives, or the couple times I come up there, we were busy. We had a missing woman here in April, and we were busy with that. And then this murder of a little boy, this Samuel Olson, this little 5-year-old boy here. We were busy working on missing person cases. We weren't even paying much attention to anything that was going on YouTube that much at all. And I was flabbergasted when we got these emails, and then we find out all this other stuff was going. We didn't know anything about all this, any problems with the family or anything. We didn't. I hadn't heard anything about it. Nothing. Didn't know anything about it. But then we started looking and searching, and it all started making sense. You go back and you see these videos that she's doing popping up right after the family backs away. And I think they tried to do it in a nice way with her.
Right,
But then,
right. And good
but
for them. Again, I'll say it again. Good for them for backing away from her, because
mhm,
the the stuff that was flying out of her mouth, the family did the right thing, I think, to back away from her and to keep their distance.
mhm. But what does she do? She turns around and puts something out there very private about that. Uh, Frank and Sandy didn't even know that she was loaning this money on a personal basis to Frankie. But then when she gets all upset and they walked away, she wants the money back, and Frank did pay her the money. He did pay her. It's $520, and he did pay her the money. He sure did. Hmm.
I want to address this Cheryl in the comment thread. She's posting one BS comment after another. Cheryl, you say show the receipts and don't go down this rabbit hole and all that other crap, right? Well, you're making claims that I don't see you proving anything. Number one. Number two, if you're not going to act in a respectful manner, you will be blocked, because we have a zero tolerance thing here. If you want to discuss the case, or if you want to discuss the topic at hand, that's fine. But save your BS comments, because you're probably on, I would say, one or two more and you're bye-bye. Okay? So you're welcome to be here, but you're only welcome to be here if you're going to be an adult.
Well,
Sorry about
the only thing I can tell her is she can go to the receipt or this information that I'm referring to, and the tax that Kelly said in that video is on our channel. And she can go to that one, and she can look also the proofs of the emails, our responses. They've all been read out. It's all been documented. And she can go there to Kelly's community page, unless she's dirty deleted stuff again and took it off, where she posted all this stuff attacking Frankie Jr. and putting this out about the money that she had gave him, and that Frank Sr. paid it back. So, I mean, it's there. There's a receipts. I don't know what receipts she wants, but there
What is
are
the name
receipts.
of your what is what is the name of your channel, Paula? I'll go ahead and link it if you want.
Surviving the avocado. Kelly the
Surviving.
avocado.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll
Mhm.
try to pull it up here and then I'll link the link or, post the link here. And that way she
It's the
can,
one you come. Mhm. It's the one you came into, I think, last night for a minute
yep, yep.
during your live or something. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's the
just couldn't
one.
remember
And
I just couldn't remember what it was called. I'm sorry.
we always show we always show receipts. We always show receipts. We show proof. We don't put anything in there that's not fact based, or we don't have receipts. So I don't know who this person is that's saying they want the receipts. We'll go look up the information and go set. I'm not going to sit here and uh, take and bring the stuff up and try to put it up in here. It's out there. It's been discussed several times in lives. You can go through there and look at it. It was put up on the screen where everybody could see it. It's not. Well, it's not.
Exactly. And I've
Yeah.
never seen Cheryl here before in our live chats, but if
Mhm.
she's familiar with this channel at all, then she would know that the idea that I would even be able to put receipts up there is laughable. Okay.
Right.
So I just put the link in the chat for anybody who wants to click on it and go take a look if you're interested in seeing the receipts for what Paula's talking about.
Actually, the live we did, I think it's the 9 hour live. I can't get in there and look at it right now, but it was the one that went about 9 hours. And we
Okay.
went through, and about 15, I think it's 15 minutes in on that one, we start going through the emails and our responses and her responses. And we keep going with other things. There was more proof of stuff that was shown last night in and out earlier in the evening.
Was it
And
about
if she
was it about 2 weeks ago? Does it say lying, delusional, sneaky snakes?
Is it the one that was nine hours?
9 hours and 44 minutes?
I believe that's the one. Yeah.
Okay,
Hmm.
I'll
But there's plenty information on
link that
any of
one
those
too
in
then.
there. Yeah. We put up all kinds of proof. That's all we do is put proof up and information and receipt. And we also put the receipts and the proof up of what she stated with Frankie. And it's also over there on her community page. She left it up. She said, "You all want proof? Here's your proof. You want receipts? Here's your receipt." It's up there on her community page, or it was as of earlier today. Let me put it that way. I haven't looked since early this morning.
Okay, so I just put the link to that 9 hour and 44 minute one to that
Hmm.
video, and then I also put the link to your channel. So if anybody wants receipts, click on those links and go find them.
And it's not just my channel. There's Gypsy and another lady. And which we don't. I mean, this one lady, we don't see eye to eye on anything to do with the case, but we don't discuss it. We all have different opinions on different things. We don't discuss it. That's not what we're there for. And people think that's what we're there for, is to discuss details about that case or the families, or that's not, or the truth channels. We're not getting into any of that. We only want to have a platform to where we don't like to have to block anybody or do anything, where somebody can come up there if they want to. And we have a place to show the proof we had and put this stuff to rest and let people know this goes real life. These people go real life on you, and it's dangerous, and it's
Exactly.
serious,
It
and
is
it's sick.
serious. And
Hmm.
I never had a YouTube channel until I was being attacked by these scumbags. I never had a YouTube channel ever. Never thought of having a YouTube channel. But they were posting so many lies and they were so over the top insane in their presentation that I thought I want to have a channel so that people can have a place to learn the truth. So, I mean, I applaud you guys for creating that channel and for standing up to the BS, because for her to come after you the way she did and to be posting to each other, like, or to the others, to be emailing all that crap to all three of you, that
Yeah.
is absolutely over the top disgusting for her to do. And good for you for standing up to it. I think these people think that they're choosing easy targets, that were easy to destroy. Okay, these are their words. I think that they think that they can say and do whatever the hell they want to say and do, and that we're just going to sit here and take it. We're not taking it. We're speaking up, we're standing up, and we're saying, stop it. stop it, because people see through them. And I think more and more people are seeing through the BS. They're also taking a closer look at the case. And I don't know if you've noticed it, but there are a lot of people who are saying, hey, wait a minute. Maybe there was Munchausen by proxy going on. Maybe there was abuse going on. Maybe Christopher Watts actually is covering up for somebody. And maybe the person he's covering up for is not NK.
Yeah. I'm sure that people are seeing a lot of things, but it's like I've said all along. People need to go out there and do their own, not just take somebody's word. Go out there and
Right.
look at the videos. Go out there and read the discovery, look at the interviews. Go do this
Yes.
research yourself. I mean, that's when you learn all kinds of things. And actually, the videos speak loud to me, but right off, that's what was the first thing that spoke volume to me. And people keep saying, you're one of these, you just want Chris Watts out of prison. I'm not saying that. I didn't say that at all.
Exactly. And
I've never claimed that.
I've never said anything nice about Christopher Watts, yet I'm supposedly in love with him and want to become his next wife or something.
But if you point out anything that you see or anything that's your opinion, then it's automatically took that, that you're a Watts lover and you don't like the Rusiks. And I feel horrible for everything that both the families have gone through. I can't imagine anything that I would never want to go through. I don't even know how they function every day. I've lost a child. I don't know how they do it. I really don't. I mean, I would be crushed. I don't know that I could do anything, ever be worth anything again.
Exactly. And for all the times I've been accused of being some kind of a basher, I think if both sides of the family would stop and think for a second about literally the thousands of terrible comments that I delete. And we're talking nearly 3 years. There have been thousands of comments that I've deleted that are against both sides of the family. And whether or not I think one side or the other or whatever, doesn't matter. I delete them because I don't want that crap on this channel.
Right.
I don't care about which one of them has a criminal record or which one of them filed bankruptcy or which one of them. I don't care.
Right.
I don't believe half of that crap anyway, and the whole who's a cokehead and who's whatever. I don't care, because we're discussing two little girls who were murdered in their own home, murdered by one of their parents in their own home, murdered in the one place they should have been safe, right? The one place that it should be a guarantee that they should have been safe. And they were killed. They were murdered by one of their parents. And yes, I'm saying one of their parents, and people can go ahead and attack me for saying that. I don't care. It isn't about the extended family members. I don't believe that Cindy Watts created Christopher Watts. I don't believe it. That whole narrative is just disgusting to me. I don't believe any of the crap. And I'm not going to have those comments. Keep in mind, they've been applauding Kelly the avocado while Kelly the avocado has been attacking me. One of them applauded the one who posted my employer and told people to harass my employer. And he said, keep up the good work. We got to get those old hags off of here, blah, blah, blah. And I still delete comments that are negative about him. Because that's what decent people do, right?
Well, and that's not the only thing we've talked about over there. We've called that share lady and them, we've called them out on all them fundraisers to get married and all that bullshit over there they're doing, because they weren't either one working and they got fundraisers up to get married, fundraisers for for them to live on. They went and adopted a cat and had immediately had a fundraiser, or not a fundraiser, but asking for donations for the cat's food and toys. Who does that kind of stuff and not expect people to call them out? You see him sitting in a very nice place. You see driving a very nice vehicle, a motorcycle. He's supposed to have MS, which I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I don't know how anybody could be on a motorcycle if they have those kind of problems, because he said a lot of things interfere with him being able to work because of his legs. That may very well be. But who sits and begs and to me it's begging, ask for money to set up accounts for money for a wedding fund. And they've got all kinds of things listed on there that very expensive items for presents. I don't understand that stuff. Maybe I
Yeah.
was raised in an era time that's really old fashioned, but you just didn't do those things, you
Well,
know?
I think of it kind of from a different perspective. If she was my daughter, if she was my neighbor, if she was my niece, if she was somebody at my church or whatever, and if she ever said to me, "What do you think of this guy?" And I'm not talking about him specifically, but I would say if I was trying to advise a younger woman who was suddenly in love with someone she had never met before, and she was going to go to a different country to hang with him and to live happily ever after, but she needed to start a GoFundMe in order to get there,
Mm.
I would say probably not a good idea. you know and I'm not saying, I mean, I don't care what they do or who they do whatever with, it's none of my business, but I would be concerned if she were my niece. I would be concerned about what kind of guy, and not even, I mean, let's be gender free on this either way, right? What
Right.
kind of person expects to go to the public to have them fund every move you make? Like, what? I mean, are they okay with this? You know, I'm sorry, but if somebody doesn't have the money to travel to their beloved, then maybe
Mm-hmm.
they don't have the money to get married. Maybe they don't have the money, whatever. Maybe they should focus on that first instead of expecting the public to make it happen for them. I don't know. But having
Well,
you see a lot of these GoFundMe's, it's like, what?
mhm.
Wait, it's kind
And
of, it's weird.
well, one of the ladies on there, the only reason they even got called out is because Cher decided she wanted to come over in the middle of our live and call us a bunch of old hags. Okay. That's what
Yeah, I think
started.
that's pretty sad too, the whole old hag thing. It's like, come on,
Mhm.
ladies. Like they're not gonna hit our age and, maybe look back and think, wow, I actually acted like that, you know?
Yeah. Hmm. And then another thing that was rubbed in one of this other lady's face, she got on there, sure got on there, said, "Oh, you're just jealous because you haven't been monetized and you don't have $26 because you haven't been monetized to go to McDonald's. And that's what you're jealous of because you haven't been monetized yet." That has nothing to do with it. This lady pointed out she thought it was stupid that they're here asking for money to live on, and they're going to McDonald's and spending $26 on food for the two of them to eat. That's what she said was stupid. Why don't you get stuff, take it home and cook it? That $26 for two meals was a bit much when you're sitting on um, YouTube and you're begging for money.
Well, and that's the part I just don't get, is the begging for money part. And that's not even just that one channel. It's
No, there's a lot of them.
it's every other channel that, their go-to is to go ahead and the super chats and the membership only for whatever price and all of that. It's all about money, money, money. And again, who's discussing the case? Who's actually discussing the case? It isn't about the case, it seems. It's more about who's fighting with who and who's going to be best buddies with who. And one thing I don't care for with that particular channel is, what's her name, that Amber chick. She was one of the worst scumbag attackers right from the start. She jumped in to the Chris Watts case by attacking innocent people, and she was dirty, absolutely dirty with the way she was attacking and getting other people to attack. And then she sits here now a couple years later acting like she's never done anything wrong. Like, are you kidding me? And yet, and it's the same thing with the avocado. Oh yeah, she's going to read some apology letter and everyone's supposed to think she's some kind of human. I'm sorry, but there's nothing to admire. If you can do that 2 years ago or 1 year ago, that's who you are.
Yeah.
Don't give me this crap that all of a sudden they're a nice person and a good friend and whatever, so everybody be nice to them. I'm sorry, if you're a scumbag attacker, you're a scumbag attacker, period. And if you don't own up to the crap you've pulled, and if you don't delete the crap you've pulled, they won't delete it because you know what? They have views on those videos and they do have monetized channels. And that's what they're here for, is to try to rake in some quick cash while they're whining that they don't want people to be raking in cash.
Well, and it's just like with Kelly and the sheriff. They hated each other up till a few weeks ago. They were at each other's throats. They were talking bad about each other. And then all at once, they're friends. They're friends again. And they're protecting each other and watching out for each other. And they made amends. But they had been working on this behind the scenes for weeks. Yeah, that's the kind of stories they're telling. This
Do
is
you
the kind of
think
stuff that goes on.
do you think that Kelly paid money for that friendship?
I have no idea at this point what she's done. I really don't know. I don't know because I don't see them either one actively involved with each other that much right now. They're in and out and just high and by or every once in a while. I don't see anything overly any kind of overly buddy system that they acted like they was
Well,
going to
and
have.
I got to tell you, I actually like Cher. I actually like her. I
Yeah.
don't I don't care for who she calls her husband. I don't care for the avocado. I don't care for the amber. But I actually like Cher. I thought she had a good thing going, how she would get right in front of the camera and say what I thought was her honest opinion about things. I
Mhm.
thought I thought she was fine.
Oh, I
And
did it too one time. But then she accused the people of saying, I can't, you all just want to say bad things because my husband's poor. We didn't know he was poor. We never even, nobody said anything about him being poor. You know, that was never anything come out of our mouths. But that's the kind of stuff they want to build up in their head. And like I
well,
said,
see,
had,
I,
had she
I, go ahead. I'm sorry.
had she not come over in our live that night, that one lady would have never come after her. She come over there, and I wasn't even. I had already gone to bed. I wasn't even up there. She went in there and called us a bunch of old hacks. And so,
Oh
yeah, that
yeah,
started it. It started it. Yeah, you know.
yeah. And I look at the way she can get in front of the camera and talk like she does. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I really thought she was saying her honest opinions when she would do that. I actually think she could have a really good channel, like all on her own, you know? Personally, I think as soon as she matched up with husband, I think she kind of she's lost some of that zest or that energy or whatever. She's kind of lost it because she kind of like, um, I don't know. I just saw a short part of a video where she was sitting next to him and it's like he knows everything and she's just kind of adding to it and it's like no, Cher has a voice, she has a strong voice. I think she would do very well to just take off on her own and just state her opinions, you know. And I'm talking about the case, I'm not talking about fighting with this one or fighting with that one or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Cher would stick with the case, I think it would be a very interesting presentation. I think she would be able to bring a really strong voice to the discussion. But unfortunately, it seems like it's more of a drama thing that it's like, dang, you know,
Yeah.
I feel the
Well,
same way with Alice Cooper, though. I think Alice Cooper could have a kick butt channel doing the dollar store thing because she has a strength with the dollar store. She does. It sounds silly, but it's true. And instead, she's trying to play bad girl or something, and she just doesn't pull off the bad girl thing, you know?
mhm. And Cher, they were moving on, but they were doing GoFundMe's for this Summer Wells, this little girl that's missing. Well, the narrative of that was that uh, what is his name, Prairie Boy, he would shave his beard off if they raised $1,000. Well, the problem we had with that was the money wasn't going directly to a link where it could have gone. It was going through either super chats, PayPal's, or this or that, and that wasn't making sense. Then the very next week, Cooter Brown's on there, and he shaves his beard to raise money for this. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Well,
really. That kind of
you know,
stuff going on. It makes you wonder.
well, you know,
You're going to give
Cooter,
super. Mhm,
Cooter was involved with some of the worst scumbag attackers two and a half,
mhm,
3 years ago. He's right down in the trenches with some of the worst.
mhm,
So if I see him on any channel, it's like, okay, that tells me what I need to know.
mhm. Well, he did. And the thing about it is, but why, if you're trying to do a fundraiser for a family in a church that's child's missing, why would you want people to do the super chats when they're going to take 30% of that right off the bat? Why wouldn't you want it to go direct to that link, to that place, or give it
Right.
to Tim Miller with EquiSearch was involved there. Give some money to them. They work on donations. He works all the time finding missing children, and he was there working on that. I don't understand and they said, well, we'll have the receipts. I'm not accusing them of doing something bad with the money. It just looks suspicious when you've got
Well,
money going super chats and then different
donate
ways.
donated funds should not be merged with income.
Right.
So if they're paying income tax on the funds they're receiving in claiming part of them are donations, that's going to be a messy tax year for them.
Yeah. Well, and you don't even get that money for 30 days when you go through those super chats. It's 30 days before you even see that money. And this is supposed to be to help this family. That's not helping the family much when one of these fundraisers was done and they get the money for 30 days. And then the second one that was done a week later, it's going to be another 30 days before they get that. And right now it's already looking like it's going to a recovery instead of a search. Because she's been missing. This little girl's been missing for so long. So I don't know. There's certain things I question, but if you say anything, it's they come for you, and then you're supposed to not say anything back. You're not supposed to say a word back. It's just like with that Amber girl. She was up there in one of Cher's lives saying that she had seen the emails that Kelly had sent to us. Now, why would that girl be privy to seeing the emails that were sent to us with our private information?
Well, there you have it then, right? If she's admitting that that information was sent to her,
She
then
got
there
to
you
see
have
it.
it.
Yeah. Mhm.
There you have
Yeah.
it. So not only is the avocado evidently gathering the information with, people seem to think that it's okay to be doing background checks on people. It isn't. You
Mhm.
need to have their permission to be checking certain information out. You need to have their permission. If you're an employer and that person has applied for a job, they have given you written permission to do a background check on them. This whole
Mhm.
idea that you can pay $30 a month and find out everything and then run around telling people what you found out, you're breaking
Mhm.
some rules. You're breaking some
Yeah.
major rules. And they don't seem to catch on to that. And then they hop up on a video and admit what they've done. It's like, whoa.
Mhm. Well, and then the next thing that Miss Avocado decides to do is to tell us that she's notified her employer um, that about things, and that they have furnishing her with legal advice through this company because she works for some recruiting company or something. I don't even know what it is she does, but she's telling us that in one sentence she was telling people she used that, and then she said, "No, I didn't use the company to do these checks. I really paid for them." But then she turns around and says, "But I told this company all about you women, and they give me in human resources, they give me access to an attorney for my protection and to come after y'all." Who says that kind of stuff? What kind of companies do that? I don't get that.
Well,
And
have they come after y'all?
no, I mean, this is something we just found out, but I mean, to threaten us with that kind of information, I mean, I don't understand it. I mean,
Well,
we've done nothing to her.
I think what they're doing, Paula, because you'll notice the age difference, right? The
Hmm.
scumbag attackers are a certain age group, and the people they're targeting are a certain age group. I think
Right.
they think that we're a bunch of stupid people who are going to be so offended by any kind of BS that they create that we'll just be like cowering in the corner, committing uh, self-sabotaging whatever to just disappear so that nobody will, you know what I mean? Like they think that our age group is that we're some kind of little weaklings who aren't as tough as they obviously think they are.
Hmm.
They have no clue who they're messing with. They have no
Right.
clue. They have no clue that the fact that they even have maternity leave when they have a baby is because of you and me, Paula. They
Yeah.
have no flipping clue. So they think that they're going to pick on a bunch of old ladies and we're supposed to just go withering, in fear. And in fact, we're looking at them with disgust because in our generation, we fought hard so that their generation could actually have it good. And what are they doing with the privileges that they have because of our efforts? They're acting like a bunch of imbeciles. That's what they're doing. We're not
Yeah.
impressed, and we're not afraid of them either. I mean, they are
Well,
disgusting.
and it's just like with this apology letter. I want to just let you know one thing. Can you actually believe that this woman would have the audacity to tell me, I love you, Paula. I
Ooh,
love you.
creepy, creepy.
Yeah, she was saying, I really loved you. I really love you. I thought of you as a grandma. You're going to tell me you actually had, but yet you're attacking me and doing background checks and threatening to have people come after me and people watching me and knowing about what I drive and where I live and who my kids are. You're really going to go there and then turn around and expect me to buy that kind of bullshit?
Well, and
No.
it really makes you wonder how bad they're treating their grandma, you know? Like
Yeah.
like do these people all hate their mothers? Do they hate their grandmothers? What is going on? Do they feel maybe they were daycare kids and they felt abandoned or something and they're like taking it out on us maybe?
But like I said, we didn't want to have to go here. She forced us to go here and to create a channel and come up here and finally get this stuff out when she sent those emails. We had no choice left but to get out there and do this because,
How is it going on your channel? Do you have a lot of different people
oh,
from
yeah.
all sides of
Mhm.
the discussion?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, like I said, the main thing she wanted to use at me, she said, that Paula, she was the one that's over there on Mensa. You really want her over there? She was bashing Shanann and doing this and doing that. She thought that that was going to be used against me, but it happens that people don't see me. I don't bash people. I don't do that. Do I discuss about things? Yes. Was I on your channel? I never denied that. I told people, yeah, I went over there. Yeah, I got up on her live and I was talking about her and my experience as being a moderator for her and the deceit and stuff that went on. I sure did.
Well,
But I
here's the
said,
other part. The other part too, Paula, is that people are realizing more and more that we're not sitting here bashing anyone. We're talking about Bella and Cece. And if somebody doesn't give a rip about what happened to Bella and Cece, then shame on them. You know, this
mhm,
whole Mensa's bashing, Mensa's in love with whatever, you know, all this crap. People are seeing through it. I think a lot of people have seen through it right from the start. So for her to try to play that, oh, Mensa's bad, you know, people are looking at her going, yeah, really? Because Mensa's never looked into the camera, tried to sing a song, and then had a meltdown. You know what I mean? That whole
right.
idea of that, I don't even want to try to imitate it because it's nails on a chalkboard to me. I can't stand hearing that. You know, that sing-songy crap,
Yeah.
and then she'll read something that she pretends are her own words, and then she'll start right in off to the races, you know, right on the heels of saying how she wants peace, love, and kumbaya. She'll be saying the most hate-filled statements about people. You know, people know when they come to the Mensa channel, all opinions are welcome, and we try to have a civil conversation, right? We try to have a
That's
civil.
what we try to do there. It's the same thing we're trying to do over there is to have an open platform where anybody can get up there and say anything about any experiences they've had or if they
Yep,
want to tell about something that's happened. But once again, we have put stuff out with receipts and proof. It hasn't just been a bunch of a bullshit. We have let people know
right.
why we had to do this and go to the lengths we did. We had no choice. We
And
had to do this.
I really
Mhm,
think that they never expected any of us to stand up to it. I really think
mm,
that they thought we would all just cower in fear. And I think that's part of why I think a lot of them are kind of squirming around, maybe not knowing how or where to find their place, because I think they expected to steamroll over all of us and we were just going to be running and hiding. But one thing I learned when I did remove myself from social media, they attacked me even worse. And if they're going to attack me even worse if I'm not here, then I'm going to be here.
mhm. Yeah, and I mean, I got accused of being on Twitter and on all these different, I don't know, Instagram and on, I don't know, Discord, all these different places, and having accounts all over and talking about her and trashing her. It never happened. I don't even know anything about that kind of stuff.
Oh,
But
they
it's just,
accused me of having a lot of
yeah,
channels and having a bunch
mm,
of people. And it's just hilarious when you consider the fact that I don't even know how to screen share effectively, right? But I suppose we have all these different channels and all these different profiles. They're just a bunch of liars. I hate to be so crude, but they're nothing but a bunch of liars. They're liars who have way too much time on their hands, who, as far as I can tell, have never achieved anything in their lifetimes, who think that it's cool to cut down grandma. And you know what? These grandmas are standing up to the bullshit. We don't take shit, and we're not going to stand by while other people are getting treated like crap either. Back even to the Cindy Watts thing, people try to paint it out like I'm some kind of best buddy with Cindy Watts and I'm Cindy Watts. Bullshit. I'm simply a person who has observed for nearly 3 years straight while there is an organized and despicable hate campaign against Bella and Cece's grandmother. How dare they? And I'm going to keep on speaking up about that because Cindy Watts does not deserve all of the abuse that she has been on the receiving end of at all. They try to paint it out, like Cindy Watts is this terrible. No, she isn't terrible. I think of all of the people involved with this case so far that we've been seeing all these videos and everything, I think Cindy Watts is like the classiest act out there.
Yeah. And another thing that kind of like you're talking about exactly in this situation is the same thing that us girls, we were said, if one of you do it, I'm grouping you. I don't care if it's one of you, you'll all be grouped together. She wasn't even going to separate us from things. If one did something, we were all going to be responsible. It's the same thing with this case. One says something or one does something, everybody's being grouped together and attacked. It's crazy. I don't understand this stuff. It's just crazy stuff people are doing. And it makes no sense. No sense at
It
all.
makes no sense at all. And I don't even think they understand what they're doing half the time. I think they're just kind of following their little leaders. And I think their little leaders are leading them astray.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions? Because I can't see the chat. I mean, I
don't know. If anybody has any questions for Paula, feel free to ask and I'll go ahead and read them. I didn't know you couldn't see the chat. I'm sorry.
No, I can't see it back here. Well, I'm on my phone, so yeah, you have to have 2 devices. Yeah.
Okay, questions for Paula. Come one, come all. I'm so glad that you were still awake, Paula, when I realized how late I was and how stupid it was for me to put a time on it to begin with because I should have known better. I should have just said, like, as soon as I can or something like that.
That's okay. Okay.
I was so glad when you popped into the chat. I'm like, yes, she's awake. And I'm only awake because I had a good nap earlier.
Yeah.
Last night I tried to do a chat and I listened to part of it this morning. I thought, oh my gosh, I sound like I'm
something happens. And it gets worse.
Susie says no questions, but she's doing a fab job. And Rose is saying, who is Paula? Rose, you must be new to the channel. Paula is one of our special guests from time to time, and she tells it like it is. She takes no crap, and she probably knows more about the case of Christopher Watts than 99% of the people out, or should we say 95% of the other women out there. And if you don't know what that means, then hang around, you'll learn. Ray says, thank you for coming online, Paula. I have nothing useful to contribute. Ray is our mother.
Here. You all are here. That's something.
Yep, and Ray is our mother of the year, let me tell you. She has baby and toddler both, and she is a kick butt mom. Her toddler's probably going to be saying words like words like Mensa. Words like Munchausen by proxy, I have a feeling Ray's entire family gets to hear our live chats.
Just as long as they don't say old hag, we'll be okay.
Yeah, really. Well, and that's the other part. Like, calling us an old hag says so much more about them than it will ever say about us.
Yeah.
Ray says I'm running on no sleep.
Yeah. I did that with 6 kids. I know what you're talking about.
Yep. I didn't have 6, but I've run on the no sleep thing. For 5 years straight, I had 5 hours of sleep a night. It was actually more like 4.5 when I think about it. For 5 years straight. And I remember when I resigned from that position and went back to the Monday through Friday routine, it took me a couple of years really to just stop appreciating that I was able to know what day it was for sure.
Yeah.
Susie says that she's been called every name under the sun or everything under the sun. Yeah, I think a lot of us here have been attacked over and over again. You know, it's almost like we're immune to it at this point because I don't know. And again, they don't know who they're messing with. They have no clue. They think they're all big, bad, and tough, and they don't even know. You know, I don't think any of them could have survived the 70s. That's for sure.
No.
Rose says, yeah, this grand is ready to crash too. I'll watch the replay. Nice seeing you, ladies. Yeah, I
Thank
think
you.
it probably is past our bedtime, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you came, Paula, and I'm so glad that you guys are speaking out, standing up, standing firm against the bull. Because you know, if you got those emails and you just said, "Oh my gosh, this is scary," that's exactly what she would have wanted.
Yeah. Well, that didn't work. No. And they just kept coming. So, you have to just keep going. If she stops and quits with the stuff, we'll stop. But as long as she wants to keep coming, we're going to keep coming. That's just the way it is.
Keep standing up against it. And
Yeah.
the really sad part is, at the risk of sounding like a Pollyanna here, every single one of these people who have been attacking us, each and every one of them does have certain talents or certain strengths that it's really sad that they can't just clean up their acts and simply say, okay, I'm done being dirty. I'm done being a snake. I'm done being a liar. I'm done being whatever. Why are they choosing to go on the path of hate and harassment? Instead, they should be looking at what they can do well, and they should be doing it well. You know, it's the Alice Cooper dollar store example. She could have a wonderful channel touring dollar stores, and it would be one that would be credible and interesting and whatever to people who like to go to dollar stores. Instead, she's trying to play this role, of some superpowered true crimer, and I just don't see it as a good fit. And it's the same thing with the avocado. She doesn't even do angry well. She really doesn't. She's kind of too far out there to even do angry well. I think of people like Cher, who I listened to her videos when she first started, and I thought, good for her. She has such a strong voice. But if you're going to just be cutting other people down or saying mean things or whatever, your voice is no longer strong. It just isn't. I mean, there's a path that each and every one of the channel creators could choose where they're standing on the truth, where they're caring about other people. If they want to say that they're an advocate, then maybe they should start acting like they actually care about other people, right?
Right.
It's just, yeah, it's sad. It's
And
sad.
like I said, I used to really enjoy her too. But the problem I've had lately is the stuff she's doing. And then her and him even got drunk and was smoking pot and stuff right there on the live. I don't get that, why people do that kind of stuff. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I didn't know that was going on.
Yeah, well,
And
it
again, I
did.
feel bad for her because I'm not sure, but I think she's a mom. And
Yeah.
if she's got kids and stuff, it's like, ooh, be careful. She, in my opinion, she could do a channel that would be probably 10 times the number of subscribers by now if she would steer clear of the people like that Amber and stuff. and just stay
Mhm.
focused on discussing the case. Just stay focused on discussing the case. Forget all the drama crap. I
Well,
guess what I'm
she
trying to say
actually
is I
is
think,
Canadian. She is Canadian. Did you know that? Hmm.
no, I didn't know
She's
that. I thought
Canadian.
she was from
Yeah.
here.
Well, she lives here, but she's Canadian. Yeah. She's
Oh,
Canadian
I
born.
didn't know
So
that.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Well, I think each and every one of them, even Amber, even all of them, they could have a decent channel. I guess I sometimes wonder, can they choose the good, or are they only happy dealing with the negative? I don't know.
Now, I don't know. When you get out here and you just constantly, it's the same thing over and over and over and over. It gets very old, and it's just like with Kelly, it's attacking us over and we weren't doing anything, but it was always those robots, those robots, those robots, those girls, those girls. That's all we were hearing, and it
Yeah,
gets very old and
it
very
gets very
tiring.
old
Yeah.
very fast, and it's the same thing with all this. Oh, AD's terrible. AD this, AD that. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, we're going on 3 years of hearing how terrible AD is. Is that all you got? Is that
Yeah.
all you got? And I guess the answer is yes. I haven't seen any of these people coming to one of our discussions and actually joining in and discussing the case. I
Yeah.
am beginning to think they don't know diddle about the case, that they're simply using this case to try to make some money.
Mm.
Well, they're
Well,
complaining about people who are actually making money. This is so weird. It's
I
again,
tell people we're talking about the children. We're not even discussing, really much about the other. We're discussing the children and different things that maybe people could see or do that will prevent this from happening in the future,
exactly right. If
warning
one
signs.
child, yes, exactly. If one child is saved because they took part in the discussion and saw signs of,
Mm-hmm.
let's say, Munchausen by proxy, and they had the guts to reach out to a relative or a friend and say, hey, I'm concerned, let me help you, then all of this discussion is worth it. And that seems to be missed with all the haters, where they think that, I've seen people posting that we're cutting down the girls. It's like, are you kidding me? We're the only
Yeah.
channel who lifts the girls up. We're the only channel who focuses on what they suffered through leading up to the tragedy. So to accuse us of cutting them down or insulting them it's diabolical, seriously.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. People just, I don't, and it's like I said, you can't have an opinion anymore on anything because if you do and you say anything, you get it. And it's just like I told you, that's why I haven't been over here. Just like that one girl coming in, there's receipts all over the place, but she wanted to come in here and attack. That's what her purpose was coming
That
over
was
here. And
exactly, and she
mhm,
was probably told to be here, and she's probably getting a little bit of cash for being here.
yeah, it would
And
surprise
I
me.
know people say that sounds ridiculous, but I believe it absolutely firmly. I believe it that this has been an organized hate campaign from day one.
Mm, yeah.
I agree, Susie. Susie says they don't give a shit about the girls. All they care about is all the drama and the money. And I agree. And I think on
And,
that note, oops, go ahead.
mhm. And also the fact of keeping your children off social media is a good idea too, I think. Not sending them out
Exactly.
there. And yeah, I think that's a good idea. I really do. For their
Exactly.
own protection, especially now. For their own
Well, and that
protection.
poor little Bella, the way she would look at the camera, kind of like, oh, here we go again.
Mhm. Yeah.
Kids just, they deserve to be outside playing and to have the focus
Mhm.
on them, not on whatever's going on with the stupid videos.
Yeah, and they
So,
always look cute and they're always dressed nice, they always look cute. But it's they didn't maybe they didn't want to be on there. They got tired of doing that. Some kids don't like to look into anything and sing a song or talk or even do it to their grandparents, for their grandparents. It's just
right.
you know, and other kids will entertain you all the time. They're really willing to entertain you. It's just but it's
Well,
where do you draw a line? Where do
I
you draw the
said a
line?
long time ago that if there's any law that comes from this case, it should be that children cannot be used by parents who have signed up for MLMs to,
Mhm.
be used in their little marketing videos. That would be a nice law if
Yeah.
people were prohibited from using their children to try to market their MLMs.
Yeah. I think, yeah, there's a lot of things that are bad ideas, and then, they A lot of kids are young enough, you know, you might give them just like a bite of those crowbars or something, and other kids might think something else and they might get into the wrong stuff, not realizing that they shouldn't be eating that, you know, because they might maybe want to react that because kids play. They react things, they act things out. So I
Right.
just see a lot of warning signs. I do now. Maybe I wouldn't have years ago because I was younger and stuff, but I've sat back and seen a lot of things and learned a lot of things. And that's what I try to do, look at it with somebody that's been around for a few years, you know?
Exactly. Exactly right. Well, thank you again, Paula. I'm so glad that you hopped up here
Well,
and
thanks for
shared
having
your
me.
experience because I'll tell you, I'm proud of you for standing up to the BS. I am proud of you. And more of us need to. We need to stand side by side and say enough of this crap. We have the right to have our own opinions. We have the right to not be abused. We have the right to not be harassed.
Exactly.
So let's go
Well,
ahead and call it a night, ladies, and get our beauty sleep so that we can hit the ground running tomorrow.
right. Good night, everybody. And thank you for being here. And I enjoy y'all. So thanks again. And thank you, Mentor, for having me. I really
Thank,
appreciate it. Thank you a lot. Mhm.
thank you, Paula. Love you.
Okay. All right. Love you too. Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.